Hey, what's up, guys? Got this on sale at Walmart. I had heard about this. Ty West, remember his first movie, The Roost, back in like 2007 or something, or six. It's a decent horror film. I haven't seen much of his stuff since then, but read about this in the Fangoria. Thought it was interesting. So, you know what? Let me check it out. Right, it's getting that time of year, it's going ultra horror, although I'm always a horror guy, but. Um, It's essentially the movie is about a group of porn people shooting a porno film, renting a cabin somewhere, and then running afoul of the the people that own the property. In particular, an old woman who starts to essentially kill them one by one. And I guess it's not much of a spoiler, but what fascinated me the most, even more than that, because there's a whole thing I will get into, but the fact that this actress here, Mia Goth, she plays the main character, the young porn actress, the girlfriend of the guy producing this little film. She also plays the old woman. Okay, so she plays the killer. So it's interesting. I always find that fascinating in any kind of production when an actor or an actress plays different roles in the same story. It's just interesting. It's just fascinating, and obviously with the makeup, the prosthetics they use, and also the digital editing, you can now do that even more than like the old tricks they did with like mirrors or shooting a person, in one scene and editing in facing the person in another scene. They can do a lot with the digital editing. Uh, Apparently, this was a successful film too. It was about $1 million budget, and it made about like 10, $11 million. So that is a profit if you do the math. Now, the big thing is that do I recommend this film? Well, uh, I don't know if I really liked this or didn't like it, and that's not something usually I find myself doing. Was it competently done? Yes, it was. Um, the obviously it's shot on HD video, but the color scheme. It's very much like the old bleak looking 16 millimeter film from the 70s. It's all screaming the 70s. It's all trying to do the old school, going back to the golden age of the modern horror, which starts in the late 60s and it extends into the 70s. Um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets mentioned a lot in the reviews. Um, Also, what's interesting too is that the film takes place in Texas, but it was shot entirely in New Zealand, which is why it was shot there. I don't know. They had American actors. They had the police cars. I guess the terrain is similar, but uh, did I like it? Well, some of the kills are pretty brutal. All right. The acting is great. Right. All of them. Mia Goth does a great job, and I when she screamed at the old woman who she also played, but the scene where she screamed at her, I said, "Huh, I think this is a British actress," and it was. I can always tell when they scream or yell. You can sometimes hear the accent come through. Jenna Ortega actually does a great job too, man. She gets it. And they all get it. Brittany Snow also did a good job. Good job playing like this girl with the blonde hair, and of course the brother who's the guy doing all the banging all the chicks. Yeah. So now, like I said, do I recommend this? Do I think Ty West intended? Oh, look, there's obviously, the rednecks, right? The hated rural people who are the villains. That the very cosmopolitan bourgeois audience that makes these films and is made, makes these films and is made for. Right, and that's my whole issue with Defango. You see, pretty much the class issue. Horror now is almost entirely in the domain of the upper middle class bourgeois white people. Right? Uh, but the thing is that what gets across is, a, none of these porno people are likable in any capacity. right? Uh, the rural people, yeah, who are the villains or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was kind of rooting for them. Okay, essentially, like I said, I'm not going to confuse symptoms for causes. Okay, and I'm not a prude. I'm not a Puritan. Okay, but particularly with the dawn of pornography, uh, uh, even a pagan would not like the voyeurism that is involved, the commodification of what was once something that you kind of winked and nodded at, you had an innuendo for, and you kept in the dark, or you kept, behind closed doors, that you kept private. Well, the people in this film, the characters, they represent the opening of that gate. Okay, almost 50 years ago. Okay, and so what was wrought by the forces involved. Well, you sort of see how it is now. You look at this kind of different. Okay, um, these people are creeps. When they get done in, I actually enjoy it. Okay, in the context of a horror film, not in real life. Right. Um, so I don't know whatever was intended, but what was ended up happening was just like with the previous film I reviewed, Halloween Kills. You start rooting for the killer. Okay, against the people that represent, what is supposed to be now the establishment. Okay, and I'm sure it's not intended. Ty West said something about the Fango article about ageism. I didn't really get anything in that from that, but whatever. The whole thing with art is, I will agree that what is intended and what comes across and what can be seen later, well, that's always open for interpretation. Right? And so that's what I think of it. So, do I recommend this? I don't know. I don't know. If you see it on the streaming thing and you can watch it and it doesn't cost you much or anything, yeah, maybe check it out. So there's a prequel that was made side by side with this, where the older woman is seen as a younger woman in very interesting time. The Just as the World War I ends and the influenza epidemic is raging, you see the old woman as a young woman, obviously unhinged. And apparently, there's also a sequel in the works of uh, this character. Right? I guess this is a spoiler. What happens to her in the aftermath of the events of this film? Um, like I said, I don't know if I liked it or didn't like it, but there was some good scenes in it, and like I said, what was intended, but what I got out of it, well, that's what always makes these things interesting. Anyway, later.